Hey, it's Jonathan. The question is, did you save your profits and invest in a new branch or to grow your business? And the answer is no. The answer is yes, I save my profits. I reinvest our profits every year. I don't take a ridiculous amount of money out of the company. I'd rather put money back in. We want to grow quickly. So I do put a lot of money back into the company. And I would rather, if you're in a high tax bracket, then all the money you take off the table, if you're not going to go spend it, then you got a big tax bill you got to pay. So let's say you're in a 30% tax bracket. No, let's just say 25% tax bracket. You're in a 25% tax bracket. If I make 100 grand, I'm going to pay $25,000 in taxes on that money just to take it off the table. And so if I leave it in the business to grow the business bigger so that I can get a bigger paycheck later, then that 25,000, I don't pay taxes on it. Well, be careful with that. If you just leave the money sitting in your bank accounts and you don't spend it before the end of the year, you do pay taxes on it. There's a whole tax management that goes with this. But point being, if you spent that 100 grand to grow your company, instead of taking it off the table, if you're in a 25% tax bracket, then that is the equivalent of the government essentially giving you a free $25,000 to grow your business because they were going to take it from you otherwise. So I'm a big believer in reinvesting in the business instead of spending and taking what I need but putting as much back to grow. I'd rather grow a big business, a big asset that's worth a lot of money if I sell it or is worth eventually to me a very large paycheck and a very large paychecks for my key people in the company than I would just take a bunch of money off the table right now. So I'm of the mindset that I reinvest. That's just my personality. But and I also try to stay debt free. So with all that being said, yes, first part of your answer, I left a lot of money. I leave a lot of money in the business. We grow the business aggressively and we spend the money so that we don't have to pay taxes on it. Second part of the question is, did you use that money to grow multiple branches? No. I have absolutely no desire to do that at this point. Not even thinking about it. I've been in another company in a different industry that we were in lots of states. And we were very big in lots and lots of states, and still are to this day. It's not past tense, but that business is in a lot of states, and I was very active in that business for years. And it's very impressive to say, hey, we are this big in this many states. It's impressive, I suppose, to yourself and to maybe other people that hear it, but it really doesn't matter. What I find it to be is more of a, I don't know how to put it. It's not as exciting as it sounds. So yes, if you expand into another state or you expand somewhere else and you're living by your core office, now you've got to get on airplanes. Now you've got to drive. Now you've got all these employees somewhere else that unless you just have an incredible manager that's like you, that division, that growth area tends to not perform like your core one. What I've seen over and over again is guys expand into other markets, other states, and it worked well for us with what we were doing, but it came with a lot of headaches to be in a lot of other states and a lot of travel. And so my point is this, if you have a really good core business here, and let's say you're making a 20% net margin, and you open another business 150 miles away, you are not going to make a 20% net margin there. I guarantee it. You almost never see it. Now, you may in time, but you're not going to make it there until you get somebody like you or like the guy you have running your current operations in that place. Because what I've found is as you spread further and further out, if you don't get just the right person, it only gets more difficult. And you're constantly going there. You're constantly traveling, flying to that location to work on a problem over there. If you've got a problem here and you've got a problem 150 miles away, which one do? You take care of the problem here. It's like the properties further and further away get ignored, get less attention, get less inspections. So I believe in expansion, but I would never expand into new markets until I have just eaten up my current marketplace or really got a lot. And then if I was expanding in my new market, I would have to be able to transfer a management team from where I'm at now that I could absolutely trust would run that division or area or branch just like the current one. Otherwise, what I believe is you'll go open that new division, that new branch, and it won't run as smoothly and you're trying to hire employees there. And then when things go wrong, you got to go there. And it doesn't operate as efficiently, and it can potentially drag down your name of your business. It can eat up a lot of capital from your core business. So I believe in expansion. I'm not against it at all. I'm just saying I don't see any point in expanding from where you're at unless you just can't continue to grow that marketplace. Even if there are other great opportunities elsewhere, it's not as easy as it sounds. And a lot of guys do it because it sounds really cool, but it's not as easy as it sounds. If I was going to expand elsewhere, I would do it more as a owner operator type scenario where it's probably not my core business and I was financing partnering with somebody else. I'd probably do it that way, or I would wait till my core business is really, really sound and send a management team there to build out that area. But in terms of just going and hiring guys in the area and hoping they run it, and I'm only going to go visit that, say once a month or a couple times a month, there's no way. I just grow what you got. So we didn't do that. So we've stayed very focused. I stay focused on about 6 cities, and for the next 5 years, that's all I care to do is just keep growing those cities. I think there's plenty of business if you're in the right area without expanding. And I think the big question to ask is, am I expanding because it's cool and sounds exciting and would be impressive to others, or is this something I really want? And do I really understand what's going into this? And how much money it's really going to cost, how much travel I'm really going to have to do, and how expensive it is going to be to find the right employees that can actually go there, move there, and be the equivalent of me at some level. And so those are the questions I'd ask. And so to answer your question, we've chose to just focus in one area.